But at this game, obviously, you do need the power in the shaft of the cue and the jump cue. It is needed. Why do you need a coach now? I said, because something's not right. And I know it's not. And for me to compete, I need to change that and quickly, because if I drag this on any longer, it's just going to wear me down. In general, you need to work on your game. So whether it be get a coach, practice more, to get to the next level, you got to put the hours in.
If you missed part one of our interview with Jack Whelan, then go and check it out right now. This is a man at the top of his game. He went on after this interview to win the Asian Heyball Open in the week following. So it's just flying right now. In the meantime, enjoy part two of our interview with Jack Whelan.
The priority at the end of the day. There's a lot more money in snooker. We understand that. And especially at the top level, like Mark Williams, for example, obviously he's a good player. But he'd only turn up and play with whatever cue he's got at that time in China. He wouldn't be going, right, well, I've got to pack that stuff and I've got to pack that and my jump. It's just like, well, if I'm there, I'm there. And if I'm not, then I can't play. And I can imagine it'd be the same with the snooker guys. Is like, it's not that they don't want to learn, but what I will say is moving forward, obviously, what joy you're doing and the money that they're accelerating in to the sport, they're going to start noticing definitely, and they're going to start wanting to play in these events because the prize money is obviously bigger than the World Championships at snooker.
I was in my last 16 getting all my equipment together that I never use, and I'm trying to screw the shaft into the butt. It's not working. What's going on here? And I realized that I've got my jump cue shaft. I'm trying to screw it into, because I never play with them. And I'm looking around and I'm thinking, did Kurt see that? He didn't? I'm thinking, I swear someone's seen, and I look over and there's Alec Everardis just laughing at me. I'm like,
Laughing,
oh,
yeah.
God, Jesus Christ.
It's one of them things where, like, I know it's weird, like having a jump cue and a break cue, because even with English ball, I broke with my playing cue, and I had like a 7.9mm tip on my English ball cue, and I still broke. And as you said, like arguably one of the best breaks in English pool with like a 7.9mm tip.
Yeah.
But at this game, obviously, you do need the power in the shaft of the cue and the jump cue. It is needed because, like you say, your chance of kicking a ball off a rail jumping over a ball that's impossible to miss really is like chalk and cheese really when you're playing at the top level. And I spotted that guy. He just come with a snooker cue and a break cue that wasn't even a break cue. So I knew, like, if I put him in a spot there, I knew he couldn't do anything about it, basically.
Are you talking about me? Because I was playing with a snooker cue and I was breaking with just a normal 9-ball cue.
No.
Was I in Brisbane? Was that me? It's sounding like me. Yeah, I'll be more prepared next time. Yeah,
he hit the ball really nice, the guy in Brisbane, but I just could tell he'd never played before.
I did notice, like, with on the 7-footers with a little white, you can get away with a lot. You can just, across equipment, knowledge, skill, and all these things, you can bullshit your way through a lot of it. The Chinese 8-ball, I was on this last week, and I was saying, there's people put too much focus on into the equipment, and that's to like a certain level. You certainly need equipment that can play all the shots, so you can actually play it. But you don't want to get to the point where you're like an amateur golfer and you go around the golf course shooting 100, and you've got the 2024 driver, and no, I want the 2025 driver. I've got the TZ32. I need the TZC. That'll help me. No, it won't help you because you can't even hit the ball in the air. So with the Chinese 8-ball equipment, you want to get everything that is good enough to get the job done, but don't go spending $5,000 and thinking that's the trick. Spend $1,000 and spend the other $4,000 on table hire and coaching. That'll do you a lot better.
Well, when I played like a really high level at English pool, and when I started to mainly focus on Chinese pool, I found myself, like, my left eye especially, it is not great, basically. So I find myself cueing from right to left a lot. So I was basically hitting with, well, I was basically like slicing the ball to a certain extent. So I started working with Steve Feeney about 3 months ago as like an alignment coach, because over distance, I was getting down on the shot and I was actually like moving to see if I was online or not. And I couldn't ever judge whether I was online or I wasn't. And although at English pool, you're playing over like 6 foot bed, you sort of get away with playing with side and stuff. Whereas
Yeah.
at the Chinese, I was missing the whole pocket. And I was thinking, surely that's not right. And then like I was playing like a lot of cuts on right to left. So like that 8 ball that Justin had there at that racket 9-5, I would see that thick. So if I had to miss the ball, I'd never overcut it. I'd always hit the near jaw. I did it so many times that it wasn't like, oh, you're under pressure, you twitch that. It was something in my brain was going, well, you're clearly not standing right or aiming right or seeing it right. So when I started to work with Steve Feeney like 3 or 4 months ago, I'm actually aiming to miss the pocket now on long shots,
Right. Yeah.
but I'm trusting that my body is in the right place. And like I know a lot of the snooker players have worked with Steve Feeney, and he's had obviously a lot of success on the snooker tour. But like now I feel more comfortable over distance, because as long as I step right into the shot, the worst thing that I'm doing is obviously I'm aiming to miss the ball, which is obviously like quite worrying when you're playing a big shot. I'm not actually aiming to hit it in the pocket. I'm aiming to hit it at the jaw, but I'm
Yep.
trusting that I'm in position right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've sort of got to like half close my eyes, even though I'm not closing my eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Is that something you're going to work on to try and fix, or you sort of think it's acceptable and you're on top
No, I
of it?
think like I've just got to, yeah, no, I feel totally comfortable with what I'm doing. I totally
Yeah.
understand that it sounds mental to think like you're aiming to miss a ball, but I sort of know where my miss is, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if
Yep.
I've got like a long shot, I know that I've got to aim for the right hand jaw, because that's
Yep.
where like is that obviously when you the snooker guys would know exactly what I mean, where you're sighting the ball directly in the square of your body. Whereas a lot of English pool players would go right leg on line
Mm.
or left leg on line. Whereas obviously you're too far across your body there. At English pool, you get away with it. But obviously at Chinese, I clearly wasn't getting away with it. And the more under pressure I was getting, the more I was like fearing taking long shots on. Whereas now I'd feel more comfortable. In the
Mm.
balls, it's not like I'm using sight right. Because I think when you get to a certain level where you're clearing the balls up and they're in the middle of the table, it's just a case of going, blah, 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 potting the balls. But it's that big shot where you know you've got to hit the ball straight is what I was struggling to previously, whereas now I feel totally comfortable with doing it.
Excellent. Yeah, we've seen. Well, I've certainly seen Steve Feeney and Sight Right do a bunch of stuff overseas. I don't know if there's any Sight Right authorized coaches in Australia, even Robbo and Mick. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but
I'm not 100% sure, but all I would say is, do you know, if you've got any doubt in like your action, I know there's a lot of coaches out there, and there's a lot of different methods that people use. I don't know if Neil uses any himself, but obviously he's got like probably one of the best actions in the game, if not the best action, really. The way he strikes the ball, especially like you can appreciate from a player's point of view, going to watch, it sounds different when they hit the balls. You take a guy in off the street and to the crucible and say, right, watch these, and you go, yeah, they're all right. But when you see a guy hit a ball properly, and I've played at the level that I've played at, I can appreciate when a guy can hit the ball properly. And it's like when
Yeah.
Ronnie plays, when he's in the balls, it's just like floating the balls around the table, whereas Neil's like bang, pocket. It's like cue ball, object ball, lever, like boom, 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 like a gun going off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can appreciate that. And like I think that it's definitely underestimated in cue sport outside of snooker, because I think that they think that, oh, you don't really need a coach. Like someone, like first thing that when I told my wife, I goes, look, I'm going to get a coach. She goes, what do you mean? I says, like, she goes, you've done all right from now. Like you're 35 years old. Why do you need a coach now? I said, because something's not right. And I
I'm
know
a
it's
winner.
not. And for me to compete, I need to change that and quickly,
Mm.
because if I drag this on any longer, it's just going to wear me down, where I'm so scared of playing long shots and playing balls that I don't really want to play. That whereas now, if you put a ball up, be more than confident in knocking it in.
I think it's great to hear, and for the up and coming players who are watching this, Jackie is a world champion. He's acknowledged that there's something wrong and sought out a coach
Never
to
too
help.
late.
It's never too
Yeah,
late, and even at the
yeah.
elite level, just tuning what you can do, seek some
But
advice.
if you look at the snooker guys, right, they've all got somebody with them, whether it's the team, whether it's a coach, whether it's someone tapping them on the arse and saying you're brilliant. Everyone's got someone with them. Yeah, they've all got like Feeney works with like Napon, and Hugh Long used to work with William and worked with Ronnie for 2 world titles. Worked with Bingham when he won the world title. So everyone, like Ronnie having a coach, you think, what? But it's just someone to tap him on the back and say, look, mate, you are brilliant. Just go out there and put the balls, mate. And they might be mentally weaker than other players, and people might need that. Like, look at it took probably Neil to drop out the 16 to think, right, something needs to change here, because obviously, like, I'm far better than 16 because I'm really like top 5. I don't know whether in hiring or making Joe part of his team has changed him as a person, or it's someone just to like, when, cause obviously it's lonely on the road, someone to have there and say, look, I'll field the balls for you. I'll pick the balls out. I'll go for a meal with you. And someone that you can speak about just stuff that you don't really want to speak about as well, like off the table stuff. Like I shared a room with Jake McCartney there in the last in Australia, and he's one of my good mates from the UK as well. And everything that you do is just so comfortable. You're not like worried about anything really. If it's like something's happening at home, you can speak to them, and someone that's got the best intentions of you as well, and not just there for like to rinse money off you basically. Which I think a lot of the coaches, not necessarily that at the end of the day it's a job and the money driven, but if you were to line a coach up and say, he's playing this match, but he's playing this match, do they get 50-50? Or do they get 70 and you can have a little bit of 30 and I'll speak to you when I've sorted him out? So it was a bit of like, whereas like Steve, obviously, like, I know he can't be in Australia and he can't be in China, but I've messaged him at God knows at what time in the morning, and it's a reply. This has happened. Right, do this then. Go to the practice room and do this. So then I'd go back to doing that, and then I'd find out what I've done wrong, where I've overstepped or I've understepped. It sounds obviously quite a lot technical, but when you get to the level that you're at, you need to sort of know what you're doing wrong, not just missing balls.
Well, it's an interesting thing how you say all this, because we see like guys like you, because we're not professionals over here, and you come down, and even myself, who has been around for 30 years, and Neil's my brother and stuff, and so I'm not, like, it's not foreign to me to see professionals play. But even when you come down here, there's some, like, almost have it in your head that there's something different about this guy. Like, he's an English professional. He's an emotionless robot. He's a calculated, playing machine. He feels nothing.
I've actually been called a teddy bear.
Well, you are,
by someone. I was like, fucking teddy bear.
But we think you feel no pressure, no fear, nothing. You're just here to do a job like a machine. So it's good for people to hear that you've got a coach, you've got problems, you're aiming to miss balls, you're shaking guys' hands, and you feel like you can't lose to them, and then you're playing other guys and you feel like against Justin, you said halfway through you felt like you were going to lose. But I think a big difference is guys like yourself who are professionals. You're professional for a reason. And whenever you realize that something's a bit off, you go and fix it. You do your best to fix it. Whereas the non-professionals, you sort of just go, that was wrong, and just hope for the best next time, and if you're just hoping for the best next time, and you're not actually working on the issues, it's not going to be better next time.
The thing is, there might never be a next time. As well.
Yep.
For example, like reverting back to Neil there, like for him to drop out the 16 was criminal, really, wasn't it? Someone of his standard.
Yeah. Why is it?
And it probably took that as like the kick up the arse to say, right, I need to get my job sorted out here now and start practicing more, or I don't know what he's done different, but obviously clearly he's now a different player than he was 18 months ago.
Yeah, well, he was saying that he was going to drop to like number 43 in the world or something. It was looking like at some point. And you got to wonder, like, these guys have been playing, he's been in the top 16 for 20 odd years now. And it's got to get to a point where you start to drop a bit, maybe outside the top 16, maybe go to rank 24 or something. And you think, oh, is this the early stages of me retiring? Like, what if I don't get this back? What if I want to keep playing in 2 years from now and I'm not even on the tour? That's like, holy shit. Well,
Yeah.
the only way to fix that is win.
I seen an article yesterday, well, last night when I landed here, of Robert Milkins is looking like he's going to be like 80th in the world because he's got all that money coming off from when he won that tournament 2 years ago. And basically he's going to be dropping off the tour if he don't start winning matches like real sharp. And now he's like, obviously, probably, I don't know, financially he's okay, maybe, I don't know, but he's sort of like having to win matches now. And obviously that's not a nice place to be in when you've got to win to survive.
Yeah. And those guys rank low, especially early on in the tournaments, best of sevens and cubicles trying to qualify. And they see that you're on your way down, they're going to smell blood. Even these guys rank 60, 70, they can play now. It's not like it was back in the day.
Like, I don't feel one, like, them guys that are like behind 64 and onwards. It's tough. It would be tough. Like, you'd probably be getting like the same as like an English pool player would be getting, but you're just getting beat up all the time. And you're playing like your first round, you've got your Neil or your Mark, and you're just getting tortured that's not fun. That's not fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's so hard to get out of that position unless you're winning matches. And at the end of the day, you've got to do something about it. Otherwise, you're just going to keep on going down or keep on staying there.
Jack, can I ask you? We're just talking about kind of the humanity of the game and having people around you. Just after the final in Melbourne, you were a bit emotional. Can you tell us about that? Are you happy to talk about that?
Yeah. So basically, what it was, I lost my mum earlier this year. It was at the middle of the year, really. It was just like a release of, like I said, it wasn't the biggest tournament I ever won, but it'd rank as one of the most important ones because, like my dad's obviously been with mum for like 40 years, and he never really watched me before because he couldn't watch. Like, he gets that nervous that he'd probably only ever been and watched me twice in live because he gets so nervous, even with English pool. It was just like for them, really, because although I'm here trying to like earn a living and that, at the end of the day, I've got a wife and I've got 2 kids and a mortgage at home that I'm just trying my best to provide for my family, and I just want to make them proud and happy. And I think that was the first tournament since like my mum passed away that before the final, I thought, oh, like, this would be nice if I could win this and that. But I didn't ever think that I'd get like emotional about it. And then just sort of when it happened, it was just like, I don't know where that come from, but it just come over me, really. And I wish, like, not that I'm saying I wish it didn't happen, because it is what it is. And at the end of the day, can't control what's going to go on. It was only me just being a human, but it was just a case of like, because my mum was like ultra proud of me, and I couldn't do anything wrong. And if I had to miss a ball, it was the table's fault or the ref's fault because if they didn't wrap the balls right or whatever. So like, and I said to her, like, before she went, like, look, I'll just try and make you proud and try and win as many tournaments as I can. And my goal is to win in China, because outside of China is important, but inside China is a different kettle of fish. It's like one of the triple crowns at the snooker. He just got that. You can win any ranking event, but you'd swap 10 for a big one. And it was one of them where, like, because it was the first one, it was a bit like, I don't know why, but yeah.
I like, as a viewer, like, I think it showed just how human you were. Like, I think it was great to see that it meant something to you.
Is that when you said like robot and doesn't show no emotion, then to doing that like after
it was the opposite.
Like,
it showed real humanity.
That's what was so good about it. You've pointed to the heavens, that was pretty obvious, and then you got quite emotional. I think sport brings out crazy emotions in everyone. It can make you angry and happy, and the feeling of when you win a tournament that you've really wanted to win. It's a money can't buy experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had one when I was playing in the Pro Series, and I'm playing in a match and I was down, and all of a sudden my wife turned up with my two boys, and it was on the TV table and
Yeah. Yeah.
everything, and they didn't have a camera
Quality.
on me, and I feel like giving up. I think I was playing Alec Evernatis, and I wasn't playing good, and I thought,
Right.
I don't want to do this, and then she surprised me with the kids, turn up with the kids, and they didn't have a camera on me, but I lost it. I had to get the towel and cover my face and all that. And then I thought I'm gonna win for them, and I did, and I'll never forget that match.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
But
Yeah.
like, and Neil's had it as well. He had a hard semi-finals and a hard final, and he's ended up coming back to beat Ronnie, and then coming back to beat Judd. He was well behind in all of them. And Alexander's actually come out, my nephew, and you don't hear what he says, but Neil told me what he said, and I'm happy to share it. And Alexander's come up, and Neil's been emotional, and he said, "I never gave up." And that's when Neil started getting quite emotional there as well. So sport, it brings out,
Mm.
like it makes you vulnerable as well. You're
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
here, you're away from home. It's your first tournament since your mum passed
Yeah.
away. You It's lonely
Yeah.
when you're in that chair, and you're going to start thinking things,
Mm.
and the moment you
Mm.
win, it's like all that pressure valve or whatever just goes poof, and whatever motion
Blows
you were
up. Yeah.
bottling up, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. It was that I remember. Obviously, I lost in the semi-finals in Brisbane, and I lost in the semi-finals also in Sydney.
Mhm.
And I was sharing a room with Clint, who won it in Brisbane. And my little boy, he's only 5, we're nearly 6. He plays a bit at home, like he loves playing. And Clint comes to my house and practice, and so he knows Clint. So we've come back and like FaceTimed before I went to school. FaceTimes. I said, "Oh mate, I lost." He goes, "What? You let Clint beat you?" Like, because obviously he doesn't really know what's going on. He just goes, "What? You lost to Clint? How did you do?" He goes, "I even beat him when he come to my house." So they don't quite know, but that they watched the final before. They watched the final at the weekend. My wife was recording him shouting at the TV and stuff. And like my little girl, she's only just turned 4, and she was shouting at the TV and
Yeah.
basically saying to like my wife, "Why is Dad not replying to me? Why is he not speaking back to me?" She couldn't quite get to grips that obviously I couldn't hear her, but she was shouting anyway.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. This is one of the the heyball is obviously providing a bit of extra money to Q Sports around the world.
Mm.
But one of the
Mm.
downsides for you is like in Ultimate Pool, you're playing in your own backyard. Now
Yeah,
you've got to travel the world. You're away from family.
yeah,
You've got your wife and
yeah,
2 kids at home. You're in China.
yeah,
You're in Australia. Now you're in Jordan. You're going to come back to Australia.
yeah.
How are you
The only thing
balancing
I would say is like
family life being a dad?
the only thing I would say is look, I did have to used to get up for 12-hour shifts on nights, and now I do this for a living. So like I wouldn't swap setting my alarm and doing a 12-hour night shift again to traveling around the world. I understand that you're away a lot, but when I am at home, I am at home. So like, although this is like a really long stint for me, that I'm away for 4 weeks now.
Mhm.
Obviously, I've just done 3 weeks there in Australia, and I fly back to the UK on the 12th morning, or as and when the final ball goes in, I'll be on the next available flight home.
That's good to understand. So that the money in the sport has lifted your income
Mm.
enough that you're a
Yeah, yeah.
professional pool
And
player
obviously,
now. So
like,
you don't.
yeah, and obviously sponsors and stuff as well, which help. So yeah, but mainly it's in China. It's just this last like 12 months really that they've ramped up the Olympic bid. That all of these events are now happening, and like I say, I went to Brisbane for that tournament, but then obviously because they're tagging into each other, it would be crazy for me to go that far and not just stay for another week and play again.
Why didn't the other guys play? Like, why didn't Arfin and
I
Clint
don't know
play?
why. Our fans actually here in Jordan because there's an Asian Championships. So basically, what it is Asian only. So you've got like Pakistan, Qatari, Oman, Palestine, India, all of them guys, Israel, all of that the Asian. I think it's called the CBS. I know yours is the APPA, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So ours is the EBPF, whereas theirs is like the Asian Billiards something snooker association or something like that. So here, this started on the 4th to the 7th, and then the other tournament starts on the 8th to the 11th. So they're all here now. So actually, tables downstairs. I'm sitting in the reception now, and there's tables downstairs. So a lot of the players, and that was 24,000 the winner, and obviously it's only Asian players. So a lot of the players like Orphan, for example, are thinking like this is all right because there's no like Brits or anyone in it.
Mm.
But it's all run by George.
And these are similar prize money to what was in Australia. I think 10,000 US to the winner.
That the Asia one is 24,000. But there's only 40 players in it.
Whereas the one in China, I think, was 400,000 or something.
Yeah, they're like $280. They are in China. $1,000, obviously.
$1,000, yes. Yeah, I think I watched Gareth play in the. He played two matches in one day, so he's playing the semi, and he finished third or something. And
yeah, he finished third. He got I think it was like late 40s, $50,000 for that.
A much bigger check than you got for winning.
yeah, but obviously, he had a lot harder field and a lot more difficult matches than
long matches. I think he played. I think he played.
No,
you still.
Yeah. Look, I'd swap the 15 for the 40 and third.
I think he played two 5-hour matches in one day or something. He just
that's the thing. Like I said, in China, there's no clock, and when you're playing race to 19, race to 21s, it could be like a 4 or 5 hour match, and you potentially got 2 in one day. It's crazy, really, because they run the event over a week or 10 days. And then they ran the final 4 matches into the last 2 days. It's just it's crazy, but I suppose it is what it is, and that's what they're paying, and that's what you do, and you play, and everyone knows it's crazy, but you just turn up and play anyway.
Yeah.
And if you're there, you're in a good position to be moaning about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But I know when it come off, people.
What did you think of Australia when you were here, Jack? What was your favourite city, first of all? Was that one correct answer here?
I actually think it got better the more, when I went to Brisbane first time, I thought this is really good. Then I went to Sydney and I thought this is better than Brisbane. And then when I got to Melbourne, I thought that's better than the other two. So I actually preferred Melbourne. I preferred the weather in Sydney. I do like it hot, but I preferred Melbourne as a place. Obviously, they took me to the G, and I had a stadium tour there with Jake. That was really good.
Yes.
Did that, then went to the top of the sky deck in. Don't even know what it's called. The Melbourne sky deck. It was 280 meters up in the air.
Eureka Tower.
Yeah. I went up there. Went to the Crown Casino for dinner a few nights. It was good.
You've done more than us.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Well, I actually went on the tour with Jake, and Jake goes, "I've been here 50 times for matches." He goes, "I've never done the tour before."
Right.
And he said, "I'd highly recommend doing the tour. So if you've not done the tour before, you need to go and do it." And it was a day after the grand finals.
Wow.
So they still had all the changing rooms kitted out with I don't even know what the teams were. The black and white team is the changing room we went into.
Geelong.
I think they won it. No, they lost, didn't they? Geelong,
Brisbane.
Blue and white, Geelong.
Brisbane,
yeah. I went in their changing rooms. I went in the bit where they do the media after with the board behind you. Did all that. It was pretty good. And obviously I follow the cricket, so they actually on the Sunday when we went, they already ripped up the square prepping for the Ashes.
Oh wow!
Will there be? You're back in November, right? Is there any? Are you going to be able to see a cricket match when you're back?
Not at the G, because the next match at the G is on Boxing Day.
Boxing Day
there. But obviously I won't be here for that. There's actually a tournament that starts on Christmas Day in China. At the minute. Hopefully they're going to push it back, but obviously a lot of the Brits won't be playing in it if that's the case, because obviously there's one day of the year that I've missed birthdays this year, I've missed wedding anniversaries, but I'll not miss Christmas Day with the kids. Nice. So if they my birthday's on the 28th of December, if they move it, I'll fly out on Boxing Day, but I'm not missing Christmas Day.
Yeah, fair enough.
I've made that promise to her. I think she deserves one promise over the amount I've been away this year, and that's the day that I'm not going to be away.
Good on you, Jack.
That's
Well, I like to learn about the cue sport that I'm trying to play, and everyone's been trying to tell me to play Chinese 8-ball for a long time now, and I've just not been bothered. I'm 42, you're 35, so you're still a baby. And I played it, and I really
I've
enjoyed
been
it.
told I look 20.
Well, I'm 55, so there's
Uh,
I got 30 years difference here.
I had a shave last night, so I've been told now.
You do have a baby face. So like our guys, like you played a good range of them and you flogged them. Like Alec, Jamo, Toby Clack, these guys, these are our high level players. What's the main thing they're doing wrong? What's the
think-
biggest problem or the biggest reason why you beat them? What can they work on?
I think, like, in general, you need to work on your game. So whether it be get a coach, practice more. Obviously, I understand people have jobs, and it's impossible to dedicate the hours that you need to be able to play properly. But I feel like to get to the next level, you got to put the hours in. I think that you've got to people have got to stop thinking that it's as difficult as it is. Because although the game is hard, I totally agree with that. But at the end of the day, like you say, you're playing 8-ball, and it's if you go around the finish the right way, they're as easy as you want to make them. Really, obviously, you have to be able to cue the balls in still. But I just think that a lot of people see the game and they instantly back off. Like you said, you play in the first match and you're turning down the 50-50s, but you're too good to do that. That's like a county B level player that thinks flipping that doesn't go in there. It does. Like you say, you need to be sharp enough to be able to pot the balls. And I think when you're playing someone like, for example, when I'm playing someone that can play, like Alec, for example, it feels to me like not that they don't want to win, but they're trying not to lose rather than trying to win.
Yep.
And I feel like when they're playing a game, they don't quite attack the balls like you would do if you're playing English ball.
Well,
Are you giving the game too much respect?
It was something I noticed that the difference when watching you play. It reminded me of Mick Hill when he came down here, where it all made sense. Everything that you were doing made sense, and it was very, very, very consistent. When it's like you've pre-worked out what you're supposed to do in all these scenarios, and you do that, and you don't really move from it. And if you do, it's by a bit and for a reason.
Yeah.
Whereas I could watch a lot of top Australians play this game, and a lot of the time it doesn't make much sense and it's not consistent. And that's what I think is the biggest difference. Because like from a raw skill, raw potting point of view, if I was to handpick the best 10 players in that room and just have a potting competition, maybe you win, but it's only by a little bit. A white ball control competition, you have more of an advantage there. I'd be surprised if you lost a white ball control competition. But where I think you have the biggest edge is your consistency in your shot selection and your philosophy with the game. And the reason why I think that's the most important is because it doesn't matter how good or bad you're playing. Once you have that knowledge, it's always there. The run of the balls, if you're sick, if you're playing good or you're playing bad, you have that knowledge. It doesn't leave you. And that's why when I watch you and Mick play and you come down here and you beat us, I feel it's the knowledge of the game as a whole is why you get such good results. Because like if we ran that
I feel
tournament 10
like,
times,
over the last like
I was going to say, if we ran that tournament 10 times, I think you're winning it around half, which is a lot. And I don't think it's from a
Yeah.
skill.
I just feel
don't
like
think it's a
I've
skill
like
gap.
developed my game. Yeah, I know what you mean. I think I've developed my game to like my base level has gone up where in sticky situations when you're 4-all and you're 5-all, I can get over the line like 70-80% now, whereas it was 50% before. I sort of know how to win. I know how to not lose when I need to. I know how to hang in there. I know when to push you to play a shot, or like, I think that my base level of game has definitely gone up a level. And then confidence as well is like, I totally get what's going on in the match situation. So when we're playing, whether it be timing out or whether it be whatever, I feel like I'm knowledgeable enough where I know exactly what's going on at all times.
Yeah, that's the vibe I get from you. Like, it's like you've got a script in front of you, and you're like,
Mm.
4-1 up against this type of player, this amount of time left on the clock, this is what's happened. Here's the script. Okay, 4-1 down. Here's page, okay, in trouble against hyper aggressive player, page
But I think,
32. Flip, 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 flip. Here's what to do. You guys just seem
yeah,
to have that. Like, the amount of
yeah,
times Mikhail played
yeah,
down here, the amount of
yeah,
best of fives on the 7-footers he won 3-2. He never lost, like, just never lost. How do you keep winning 3-2 all the time on the 7-foot tables?
yeah.
It's the
You
script.
just know when to shut up shop and know when
Yeah,
to attack.
yeah,
I think you sort of got to like understand when you can go and when you can't go. That's a big thing. Like, I think you'll find a lot of players hanging themselves in racks, getting to like 1 and 2 balls left and not getting out. Whereas normally, if I was going to go rather than a mess up, then I would probably know when I'm going to go, I'm going to get them. Whether that means I've pushed the boat out or not is a different story. But I feel like if I was going to go for the clearance, I'd definitely be going up towards a 70-80% of getting them rather than I just wouldn't go for them. I'd
yeah,
just play another shot, make you give me another chance. And I think like my 8-ball knowledge, especially when the board goes messy, is like not far superior, but I'd back myself against any 8-ball player of like out moving the rack.
mm,
Even like obviously Gaz and Mick is extremely knowledgeable, especially Mick. Obviously, I think Gaz is a more fluid, in my opinion, better in the balls. Cue ball is like unbelievably good. But I think Mick's pattern play and knowledge around the table is obviously very, very good as well. And he can turn that English pool into this. And we've played a good few times. And when the ball goes messy, there's a lot of shots where we're playing against each other. And it's like, fucking hell, I didn't think you'd seen that. And
mm,
he'd, like, when we played, the amount of times I could be like, shot, because I seen it, but I didn't think you seen that. But when we play against, like, not amateur players, but like, for example, like the Melbourne stop, when you're playing against people that don't play all the time, I could play a safety shot and I could push you into playing the shot that I want you to play next. Like the old
yeah,
world rules days,
yeah, yeah,
where like, you're going to play a shot, then I'm going to DF you.
yeah, yeah,
That sort of thing. Whereas at this, like, because the game's, I could like push a ball to the rail and you wouldn't really know what, not that you wouldn't in general, but over a blanket of you play a shot and you sort of like, well, I know what you're going to do next. So then I'm going to do that after you do that,
yeah,
unless
yeah.
something else
Chess.
crops up. And it's like that. I think you're playing scenarios, and obviously in snooker, it's the same again, isn't it? I think that there's no surprise that your Selby's and your Higgins are like, when it gets to scrappy, they just completely take over. Obviously, everyone's good when they're in the balls and they're knocking in 60s and 70s, but it's a different kettle of fish when you put all the balls on the side rails and say, right now, let's start a frame. And that's how I feel at Chinese.
So do you get to hit the practice table, Jack, over the next
Ye-
day or
Yeah,
so?
so they play here till like 5 p.m. At night. So from like 6 o'clock tonight, I'll have a few hours tonight. And then,
How far are you from the
yeah, I
venue?
can only play at night because we're actually staying in the venue where they're playing, the event.
Good.
So they've got like 16 tables here and a TV arena. So what you're
Yeah.
seeing on the WHT site, that's the TV arena. Then there's 2 rooms of 8 more. So next week there's like the men's division and there's a ladies division, same as the Oceania event.
So what kind of Chinese 8-ball cue do you have? Like, I obviously went down to watch, and I didn't enter the last one that was just there last week because I don't have the equipment. But
Yeah.
I need to obviously buy the equipment because it does make a difference if you're playing with a snooker cue over a Chinese 8-ball cue. So,
Yeah,
what
it
would you
does.
recommend?
Yeah, it does. So I've got a Potts cue, so it's like when Gaz come to the UK to China in the first place in like 2013, I think it was. He got made a cue in the UK by a cue maker, Tony. I think it was Tony Wilshire, but don't quote me on that. And he had like a hybrid cue of snooker style looking, but 11mm tip. So it's like more power in the shaft, but it looks like a cue and feels like a snooker cue rather than an American
Bit-
pool cue.
Bit thicker, bit heavier, maybe?
No, same weight, 17 out, same as my UK cue. But it's 11. My tip is 11mm. I've got quite like mine doesn't taper as much as some of the newer style cues. They quite taper into a point a lot more than my cue. But I've used mine since 2016, and although I've spoke to quite a few cue companies about obviously deals with cues and stuff, I've never really had the right deal where I'm just comfortable enough to change my equipment, because although it's a money driven game, at the end of the day, I feel like if I've not got the cue that I'm comfortable with, I can't compete at the level I want to compete at. So although someone might pay me X amount of thousands of dollars to use a cue for a year, if I can't pot a ball with it, what's it worth?
It's not, yes, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
I'm going to lose more money than I'm going to gain by not. So it'd have to take something and a company that I could really work closely with to make a cue the same and have it, because I'm quite weird with the spinning the cue round and in my palm.
Similar.
It
I
has
only
to be
use
right.
maple.
What about a break cue and a jump cue, Jack?
So the jump cue is also a Potts cue. It was made originally by Omin, so the company is a big Chinese company. They sponsor a couple of snooker players, massive firm in China. So yeah, and my jump cue is I don't even know the make of it. It's not I don't know what make it is, to be honest.
Yeah, just works.
You said so. Which one was you? You said your jump cue, then your jump cue. So which one's also a Potts cue?
So, no. My break cue is a Potts cue.
Your break cue is a Potts cue. Yeah, okay.
But it's originally made by Omin.
Omin, yeah. We do get Omin cues here in Australia. There are quite a few of them floating around.
Cue. So like my playing cue now, my mini butt extension is an Omin extension. So I'm presuming originally when the Potts cue was made, they were made by Omin. And then we slowly started to do, because obviously in China everything's made like by whoever they want to make it. There's that many like rip-offs and stuff that I presume that the Potts brand actually then started to make their own cues. And the main distributor in Australia is Jake McCartney for Potts cues. So if you are looking for a cue, I would highly recommend. From an 8-ball perspective, moving to Chinese, I would definitely get a snooker style cue with like a 10.5 to an 11mm tip. I don't think the carbon shafts are right. I don't think they work. I don't think the snooker cues have enough power in them to be able to play certain shots when you've got a screw back, for example, full length of the table. Although you can hit it, feels like you're falling out your shoes trying to hit it, screw it back a table. I think the graphite shafts, the black shafts on the Predator stuff, I just feel it's too stiff. You can't get them certain flick shots. So I think the perfect hybrid is like the snooker style cue with a thicker shaft.
Yeah, and so Jake's the distributor of those cues, and Gareth, of course, will be out here for the World Championships.
Yes, he is
in
here.
early November. I'd say he'll be here late October, early November. So
yeah. But I know he's the sole distributor in Australia for him. Yeah. So if you do want a cue, it comes with like cue case extension.
Yeah, there's a guy down here also, Steve Falzone from Chalk and Cue. He does make cues, and he's actually going to put 3 or 4 together for me to actually try as well. So I'm waiting on them to be made.
The only thing I would say with people like cue makers making a cue, and I've seen this before, is they don't make it to like a Chinese spec. They make it slightly too thin or slightly too fat, where it's completely fat all the way down the cue. they
Yeah, I
can't
don't like
quite
that.
get the taper right of the hybrid. Do you know what I mean? Because a snooker style is like 9.5 mil, and an American pool cue is like 12.5 mil. But you need the taper of an American cue on a snooker style cue. So it's a weird sort of. Whereas, yeah, I just feel that obviously they're not for everyone. It's
I
one
did
of them
try
when you
one
pick
of the
a cue up, you know
cues.
whether you like it or whether you don't.
Yeah, I did try one of the cues the other day where you guys were. It was called an LP, I think it was. I'm not sure
LPQ,
if you.
yeah.
Yeah, and I had a quick hit with that.
That's another major company in China.
Yeah, and I had a hit with that, and it actually felt really good. So I needed something to work off because I've never actually tried one out before.
What would concern you more if the whole field that was there has your knowledge or your skill and you had to play against them?
Knowledge.
Yeah. I was hoping you'd say that.
Because I think if the ball when the balls go scrappy, which happens a lot of times in this game, then the skill doesn't really become a factor because all it is the skill of outthinking the next person.
Yeah,
it's the snooker player,
so
eight-ball player all over again.
You're quite confident in your knowledge over the field. That's probably the thing that gives you the most confidence.
How do we, the Australian players, get that knowledge?
I think it's putting yourself in the positions like more times than anything. It's like anything like once you keep on playing all the time and you're playing in them. It's like, for example, when you first started the Ultimate Pool or Pro Series, you're playing under the clock and you're a bit like, what's going on here? Whereas at the end of it, you sort of get what's going on and you know when to hit the ball on 3 seconds and how to move the ball. You get more comfortable as things happen. And obviously, because I've played it for a long time at a good level, I feel like I'm comfortable enough to. Although there is people that you think if I played against Mick, for example, there'll be racks where you're like miles behind. You think, flipping hell, I got that move then, or I should have played that shot when I played that shot, or I didn't play that quite right. Whereas in general, when you're playing against like amateur stroke county players, you'd feel like it's like playing a snooker against. You can play, you can make hundreds, but you're probably going to lose 5-1 every set or 5-0
Yeah.
because they'll just get you. And then when they're in the balls, they clear the balls up and that's it.
So you basically need to go and find someone who's smarter than you at the game and go and play them until you're as smart as them or smarter and then keep moving up.
When I first played, obviously, Chinese, I used to go across to play Gaz because obviously he had the only table in the UK at the time. And I was getting beat up like 13-1 and 13-2 every set. And it was like, if I had a good set, I'd get to like 6 or 7. And then it took for me to like play a lot to think, because obviously I'm like, I watch when I'm playing. Some people don't watch when they play.
Yeah.
Where they'll think, oh, well, I don't really. Whereas if I'm practicing against someone, I'll watch what they do. Or even at like the level I'm at now, if I'm playing against Gaza, if we played a finish and I'd go, would you have played the 5 ball then? Or would you have played the 7? And he'd go, well, I'd have played your way or I'd have gone the other way. So you think, right, okay, I've noted that. Whereas I think a lot of people don't actually watch.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't watch and they're either doing something else or talking or when they're practicing they're on the phones or. Whereas I think for you to get to the next level, you've got to play people that are the same, if not better than you, but watch what they're doing as well. Because there'll be scenarios that come up all of the time, and you think, "Oh, that's what happened there that time." And especially like in like the old world rules, where the whole big thing was that deliberate foul. So you was like planting a seed into like putting him in like a spider web till you went, right, that's it, I'll have the 2 off you now. Whereas like if you played against a pub player, you could get them in that every single rack if you wanted to. And there's nothing they could really do about it. Obviously, the better you go, you can sort of like avoid it and start pushing back at them. Whereas at like this game, because everything is so fresh, I think a lot of people are not quite switched on enough yet for it.
Interesting. That's pretty much all what I expected, which is good. So that's the thing I'll be
put some practice in, Robbo.
Well, here's the thing. It's like I was before the tournament started, I was with Jamo and I'm like, jump. Like I said, hey, I haven't jumped a ball in like 10 years. And he goes, I don't know how to. And I showed him, like, I'm not very good at it, but I can jump the white.
Yeah.
And he goes,
Yeah.
I just don't know how to do it. And I said, well, if you practice it for like 10 minutes, you're not going to be good at potting balls jumping, but you're going to jump the ball and get out of all these snookers. I said, watch. And I just set him up. I said, look, 10 out of 10, I'm getting out of the snookers. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I still don't know if he practiced it, but that's 10 minutes for something very valuable. And I found that I reckon I'm going to find that for me to increase my raw potting and skill is going to be the hardest thing to do. Getting my white ball control will be better, but white ball control and knowledge go together. And I think hours spent, because I don't have endless hours, I've got job and family and stuff. Knowledge will be the thing that I will gain the quickest. That will be the most impactful. And I just don't think that a lot of good players, players in general, they don't spend enough time working on the knowledge. They just want to pop more balls.
Yeah. And like when you go to China, I don't know if you ever will or not, but when you go there, it's a whole new kettle of fish again with like the way that they play the game.
How do you go? How would you go over there? What's your level?
The best I've ever finished is 9th in one of the super tours.
Sounds
So it's
good,
like basically,
but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's like the quarterfinals basically, but on the losers' side.
Yep. Are you happy
been
with
to
how
that
you've
round
gone
three-
over there?
Never really happy, but sort of like, I know I can get further than that. I've had a few stinking draws when I needed them, because obviously, like in China, what they do is where you've pulled out a draw there out of thin air and just basically a computer's gone, yeah, you've got you. In China, it's redrawn. So, for example, last 32, there'll be 32 cards face down on the table, and 1 plays 2, 2 plays 3, and so on. 3 plays 4, sorry, and so on. So we could play each other in the first round, and then the next round, and I could play Michael if he wins. And then, do you know what I mean? So you could end up getting
blind
to
draw
like
every round, yeah.
Yeah, but you could end up getting to like the winners semi, and you've not really played anyone yet. Not that you've not played anyone, but like you've not played no big players. It's like an FA Cup draw basically.
Yeah.
But every single round, it's sort of like when I've needed to pull that card out, I've not really had the best of luck in the last year, really. Like in the Masters, I got to the winners quarter final, and there was like 7 Chinese players left than me in the winners side, and I drew Binji, which will basically be like Ronnie. Basically, he's the one that's going on the mad run and winning everything. But there was like a couple of like players outside the top 16 in there where you think, well, if I drew him, like I'd be all right with that. I'd take him. But you're playing like race to 17 against Binji, like, and you have to play out your skin and still need a little bit of luck as well to win, because they just break so good. And obviously they're playing
Their breaks
like,
are enormous, yeah.
and the volume of hours they're playing is just like scandalous, really. They're doing like 6, 8, 10 every single day.
So you think
like
that
they even play a match and they'll go to the venue, practice table after, in the waistcoats, carrying it in balls.
So you think that you're going to be competitive in the future over there and do well enough,
I definitely
to
hope
keep going
so.
over
That's
there?
my plan anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my plan, definitely. I'm not the sort of person that would like keep on going if I didn't think I could compete.
Yeah.
I'm sort of like, I would say to myself, look, you're not that very good. Like, you just need to stay at home rather than go to China for 2 weeks at a time every time.
Is that because of
Like, say the prize
family
money
or
was where you have a run. No, just in general, like myself, I'd rather just go back and play English ball, and just
yeah,
wing it there and just nick a bit and do whatever. But
have a bit of
I
fun.
think like to compete in China, you need to be there. And just dropping back to like the jump shot sort of thing, there's another company that plays, and obviously they play 9-ball. But if you a 9-ball on a Chinese table, which is a brilliant game because obviously you can't break and clear up like you can at American pool. And when you foul, you lose a point. So there's no more kicking off rails. Basically, everyone just jumps everything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, because they don't want to give away a point. So as soon as you snooker me, jump it. Wherever they land, they land. Just jump it. Just jump it. Just don't foul.
They'd be getting very, very, very good at the jump shots.
Yeah, you would need. But like, he's got to the point now where like I could play a jump shot and screw back from a jump shot.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So you sort of
You can judge the
you get
distance.
to the level where I could sort of jump it with side, or I could jump it with screw, or I could hit the middle of the white. So when I hit the ball, it had like not top spin, but it was pitching forward. So like it wouldn't screw back on me. But that again, it comes with like a lot of time and effort and a lot of jumping and a lot of wrecking tables as well. Because obviously it's not good for the table when you're jumping all the time.
Yeah.
So you need to get like a racking cloth or on an old bed or on a table that's just about to get reclothed and just jump on there.
It'll be fascinating to see in a year's time. Like, I hope you come back to Australia in a year and try and defend your title in Melbourne, Jack. That'd be great. But like that was the first real event that we'd seen in Melbourne. There are a few venues that are just starting to get a table. Robbo's talking about getting a table. I'm talking about getting a table. I know a few other people are trying to get tables. It'd be fascinating to see how the local community evolves over a year once they've got the tables and start playing under the rules. And if a few tournaments go on and we can see those conditions.
I think a lot
will
happen. A lot will happen in Brisbane over the next 6 years for sure.
Yeah, hope so.
Well, I know I'm obviously there later this month, and then the World Cup is like in January, and I'm back in Brisbane again in January. So I know for sure that I'm back there 2 times in the next like 3 months, basically 4 months. And because the Olympics is going to be there in 32, a lot of it is pushed that way because obviously, like I say, the Olympics.
Appreciate your time, Jack, too, as well, jumping on and sharing some of the stuff with us, especially personal stuff too. So thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem.
And all the best.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, and all the best in Jordan.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in at the World Championships.
Anyway, you're in good form, mate. Like two semi-finals, a final in Australia. Good luck in Jordan.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you back in Australia soon. Thank you.
All the best.
Nice one. Cheers, mate. Thank you.